hippies were created by the press. I mean, it was created from outside. It was a thing masked by the media, right? A love thing, a white thing.
What's so different about what you see under this long hair than what you see behind one of the cameras, who are groovy guys? This is a riff, man. You know, it really is. I'm wearing my hair long because somebody else is, and I want to please them, right?
Hi everybody, this is Gracie, your host on the Pop Music Time Machine. Today we are taking a special look at the most misunderstood segment of society, the hippies.
They represent a new form of social rebellion. Hippies are very interesting to the young. They dress in bizarre and colorful ways. They wear their hair long. Their very name suggests that they are hip, on to something good.
Discussions about the hippies are prevalent online, and the complexity of the historical context surrounding them can sometimes lead to misunderstandings about the movement. The hippies, especially those of the 60s, made a huge impact not only on music. Hippie-type music was great, but social life in general. The hippies of the 1960s were a countercultural movement that started in the United States and spread around the world. To better understand the hippies of the 60s, let's take a look at a young couple in the 50s. As you can see in this picture, a couple in the 50s was sharply dressed, and they usually conformed to what was accepted in society. And now here is a hippie couple at Woodstock in 1969. As you can see, the change was tremendous. It was clearly 100% counterculture. It is important to remember that from 1945, the end of World War II, to 1955, we were in the baby boom stage in the United States. Those who survived a horrific war came home and started having lots and lots of babies. As these babies grew up and came of age in the 1960s and 70s, they ignited a cultural revolution. Their bold style choices and musical preferences fueled the rise of psychedelic rock and folk music. This era also saw these 40s and 50s babies challenge traditional views on drug use, sexuality, and authority. Their anti-war activism, and particularly their fierce opposition to the Vietnam War, significantly contributed to shifting public opinion and fueled a powerful protest movement. So what did the hippies stand for? Number one, rejection of mainstream values. Hippies felt alienated from materialism and conformity of mainstream society. They criticized what they saw as hypocrisy, consumerism, and social injustice. Number two, emphasis on peace and love. Hippies advocated for nonviolence and love as alternatives to war and hatred. The philosophy was captured in the popular slogan, "Make love, not war." They often called themselves flower children and used flowers as symbols of peace. And number three, alternative lifestyle. Hippies often adopted a different way of life compared to mainstream society. This included communal living, simple living, exploration of spirituality, and artistic expression. Here is the big question. Some folks on the internet have accused hippies of stealing the culture of others. Did the hippies really steal cultures from other segments of society? Maybe, but maybe not. Young people in that age did not really think of cultural appropriation as we do today. Yes, they did quite often look like other cultures, especially indigenous ones, but it was not a deliberate attempt to hurt them. They were enforcing their counterculture belief, and in many ways, they were trying to honor or at least mimic a more simple life. As humans through history, we are influenced by what is around us like fashion and music, and we often mimic things that we love. Elvis Presley was influenced by the pop and country music of the time, the gospel music he heard in church and at the all-night gospel gatherings he frequently attended, and also the black R&B he enjoyed as a teenager in Memphis. He did not steal or appropriate the culture, he loved it. It was infused in his soul and it came out in his music. Were the hippies just a bunch of drug addicts?
Do you take drugs?
Huh?
Do you take drugs?
No.
Would you ever take drugs?
Yes.
You would?
Yeah.
Why?
I'm experimental.
Do you think you can manage to do this without the help of, say, grass or LSD?
No.
You think you need it?
Yes.
Do you take it?
Yes.
You do. What does it do for you?
I know myself better, and other people I know better.
You're not just taking it for kicks. Do you think it expands your consciousness so you can love everybody?
Not everybody.
While that may be the view presented by the media, the truth is clear. While many hippies did use drugs, if you look at the drug statistics, the hippies were nothing compared to current drug death statistics. We are doing a lot more drugs than the hippies did, and we are dying at an alarming rate compared to the hippies of the 60s. One important thing to remember is not all people in the 60s were hippies. The facts are very clear. Hippies represented just under 0.2% of the US population. So while the hippies got a lot of press, they did not represent most of the population. While young kids of the hippie era may have sometimes worn similar styles and they may have enjoyed the same music, they did not always share similar views. It is important to remember that the hippie movement had diverse viewpoints and practices within the groups. While some aspects of the movement were controversial, the hippies left a lasting legacy, influencing social and cultural movements for years to come. And of course, they left us some great music. Thanks for tuning in. This is Gracie. As the hippies would say, peace and love, and we will see you next time.